Tonight,
it's not fair to be ill and not be able to get the help that you need when you need it.
why thousands of Manitoba patients are leaving hospitals before they're even looked at by a doctor. Also tonight, prices falling.
Over the last week, Manitoba down about 4.5 cents a liter so far.
How much farther gas prices could drop as stations switch to the winter blend. Plus, sadness in Happyland.
We're heartbroken, saddened. A lot of people have been phoning. They've actually been crying.
Residents protest as crews start tearing down a community pool.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Thousands of Manitoba patients are leaving emergency departments before they're even seen by a doctor. The reason they're walking out? They're waiting too long. A new national report shows the number of patients giving up in hospital waiting rooms is well above the national average. The story tonight from CTV's Jeff Keel.
A couple of weeks ago, Mona Turcotte's relative was feeling faint, so she came to the emergency room at Health Sciences Centre.
And then she was put in the waiting room, and she was waiting and waiting until she was not feeling well anymore.
The wait was too much for her family member. She gave up and went home without seeing someone.
It's not fair to be ill and not be able to get the help that you need when you need it.
It appears she isn't alone. The Montreal Economic Institute, a public policy think tank, says it gathered records from provinces and health authorities and found in 2024 there were 456,000 patient visits to Manitoba ERs. Of those, more than 60,000 walked away without receiving treatment, or 13.2%, higher than the national average of 7.8%.
The situation is worse in Manitoba than the national average.
The Institute says this is an issue across the country. The demand for health care is growing because of a growing and aging population.
A larger proportion of the population needs health care, as well as struggles, increasing struggles to get access to care, primary care being one of them, and also the shortage of healthcare workers.
In response, Shared Health says a lower wait time team has been working to improve the system. Hundreds of staff and beds have been added, plus new extended hour and minor injury clinics have opened. The challenges facing emergency and urgent care have built up over years and cannot be solved overnight. But with more staffed beds, expanded community care, new diagnostic and surgical capacity, and the focused work of the lower wait times team, we are laying the groundwork for lasting change. The research did show the majority of those leaving the ER are considered semi- or non-urgent cases, but patients often return to the ER because the symptoms get worse when left untreated. That's what happened to Mona Turcotte's relative. She's been admitted to HSC after coming this time by ambulance.
Now she's in because she was passing out at home.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
As patients grow tired of long wait times, a record-setting 164 more physicians are practicing in Manitoba as of this spring than there was a year earlier. That's according to the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Manitoba, which released its annual report today. According to Doctors Manitoba, that net gain eclipses last year's record by about 30. However, it's raising concerns about the number of physicians increasingly being recruited from outside Manitoba, with grads from within the province making up less than a quarter of new physicians. The data for the report was compiled at the end of April. Drivers should start to notice gas prices beginning to fall now and in the coming weeks as stations switch over to the winter blend.
The provincial average right now in Manitoba, about 131.6. That's down 4.5 cents a liter from last week. I do think that we could get down into the teens.
That's petroleum analyst Patrick Dehan with Gas Buddy, who says the price is somewhat dependent on the exchange rate with the American dollar. But he says prices should drop by about 10 cents a liter in the coming weeks and possibly by as much as 25 cents by Christmas. This is due to the switch to winter fuel and lower demand as Manitobans tend to drive less when it's cold.
Worth mentioning that while gasoline prices, we expect relief, maybe a little bit of the opposite for diesel. Keep in mind, diesel and heating oil are essentially the same product. So unlike gasoline, which sees peak demand in the summer and lower demand in the winter, for diesel and heating oil, it's somewhat of the opposite. Not only heating oil will start to see more consumption, but as farmers get out to harvest their crops, we see a big jump in diesel consumption as well.
Experts say gasoline prices are generally lower until about mid-April when the summer gas blend is reintroduced to the pumps. Fire evacuees from Leaf Rapids will soon be going home. According to a post on the town's official social media, the evacuation order will be lifted Monday, September 22nd. The community has been under an evacuation order since July 8th due to wildfire danger. Buses are expected to leave Winnipeg Monday, arriving in Leaf Rapids Tuesday. Officials say the town center will have a reception area for residents with public health staff on hand to offer advice about spoiled food and how to clean houses. Town officials had hoped to allow residents to return last week, but it had to be pushed back so refrigerators and food could be replaced. 13 people are charged after Winnipeg police dismantled a pair of drug trafficking rings. One investigation, which police called Project Callas, ran between May and October of last year. Officers targeted a group of mobile drug traffickers selling drugs at street level, including a mix of heroin and methamphetamine known as Cheetah. Police searched 3 homes in Winnipeg and one in West St. Paul. About $60,000 worth of heroin and methamphetamine was found. 7 people were arrested and charged with multiple drug trafficking related offenses. Project Black Dragon started in June and, according to police, involved a new group of people who took over the operation dismantled by police earlier. Police searched 2 Winnipeg homes and several vehicles and found more than 800 grams of Cheetah with an estimated street value of $168,000. 6 people were charged with multiple drug trafficking offenses. Officers with the Manitoba First Nations Police Service will soon be wearing body cameras.
The goal is transparency, safety, and accountability for both public and our officers.
It's the first time the police service is using body-worn cameras. The force says the devices provide accurate and objective records of interactions between officers and community members. Officers are now getting trained on how to use the devices responsibly and effectively, along with cultural respect. The move will begin with officers in Opaskwayak Cree Nation. The cameras will then be rolled out in other First Nations over the next few months. Some sadness tonight in Happyland after crews began demolishing a community pool.
We're heartbroken, saddened. A lot of people have been phoning. They've actually been crying.
A backhoe began tearing down the structure at Happyland Pool in St. Boniface today. The City of Winnipeg closed the pool in 2023 because of low attendance and costly repairs required. A community effort raised more than $70,000 to keep the pool open, but the city said the cash fell well short of what was needed. Protesters gathered today at the demolition site, saying the community is losing a valuable asset.
This is a perfectly good pool. There was nothing wrong with it. We offered to pay for the operating costs and the city turned it down. So they're wasting our taxpayers' money by demolishing the pool and spending probably a couple of $100,000 to demolish it on top of not keeping the pool.
The city is shifting away from maintaining smaller community pools to build larger regional aquatic facilities. Well, the number of new people receiving employment insurance benefits here in Manitoba is outpacing the rest of the country. Statistics Canada reports the number of Manitobans on EI rose 3.8% in July. That's the 4th consecutive month the number has gone up and is well ahead of the national average. It's also 8.5% higher than a year earlier. Countrywide, the number of beneficiaries increased the most among people employed in education, law, and community or government services. Winnipeg's mayor says some of the federal government's NATO spending should come right here to our city. Scott Gillingham says Winnipeg already hosts some critical military infrastructure, such as 17 Wing and 2 Royal Canadian Air Force headquarters. He believes there's an opportunity to select Winnipeg as a hub for expanded federal defense operations. And as part of that expansion, he suggests Ottawa help finance key infrastructure projects such as Route 90 and the North End Water Pollution Control Centre. We're learning more tonight about the federal government's plan to build thousands of new homes across the country. Here in Winnipeg, Ottawa has selected Nadinaway as the site for our share of the housing. A spokesperson for Housing, Infrastructure and Communities Canada says it has prioritized a portion of the site for factory-built housing. The federal government plans to spend $13 billion to speed up affordable home building. A new agency will prioritize the use of factory-built modular homes, which Ottawa believes will accelerate delivery, reduce costs, and improve sustainability. More details about next steps are expected in the coming weeks. Premier Wab Kinew says the province is intervening in a Supreme Court case regarding Quebec's use of the notwithstanding clause. The country's highest court is currently hearing challenges to Quebec's secularism law, known as Bill 21. The law prohibits public sector workers in positions of authority, such as teachers and judges, from wearing religious symbols on the job. Quebec preemptively used the notwithstanding clause to pass it, shielding the legislation from court challenges over fundamental rights violations.
We are arguing that even though the notwithstanding clause of the Canadian Constitution is being used, that courts across Canada should still be able to review laws like Quebec's Bill 21 so that they can rule if, outside the use of notwithstanding clause, whether that would be constitutional or not.
This comes one day after the federal government itself intervened in the legal challenge, urging the court to set limits on how the notwithstanding clause can be used. Conversely, Ontario and Alberta have also put forward arguments in support of the clause. A date for a hearing on the original challenge to Bill 21 has not yet been set. Like Winnipeg is calling for changes after the death of two people on Kenaston Boulevard last weekend. It happened on the shoulder of Kenaston and Enterprise Drive. Police say a 31-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman were hit by a vehicle being driven by an alleged impaired driver. Bike Winnipeg's Mark Coho says cyclists using nearby bike and multi-use paths are forced onto the shoulder of the busy roadway, where the speed limit is 80 kilometers an hour.
We've definitely have, like you said, improved in the past, but the level of funding we have just isn't building that network that creates those layers of safety, that protects us, that separates people from whether they're walking or biking or rolling away from those vehicles.
CTV News has reached out to the city for comment and is awaiting a response. A vigil is planned for this evening to mourn the loss of the two victims. Well, as the temperatures get cooler, a local charity that helps keep kids warm needs your help. Coats for Kids collects new and gently used winter clothing for families in need. The program, run by the United Way, distributes about 6,000 coats every year, but it's not just coats.
We are looking for coats of all sizes, so all the way up to adult sizes. We're always in need of boots, so we're always very low in stock on boots, all sizes, hats, mitts and scarves, ski pants. All of those really warm items are always what we're needing for donations.
You can drop off your donations at any Access Storage location, Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Station, Toys R Us, or YMCA facility across Winnipeg. You can order warm winter wear for your family through the United Way agencies, schools, and daycares.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady is in now for a first look at your Skywatch forecast. What are you tracking for us tonight, Colleen?
Well, I'm going to start with this system behind us that is over the Dakotas right now. The center of this system, I'll show you that in just a moment if I can, if we can see a full shot. Well, let's take a look first through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Very important stuff to get that in there. It's 17 degrees right now. Winds out of the east-northeast at 17 kilometers an hour. The pressure is dropping and the humidity is 70%. Now let's take a look at that low pressure system, the center of which is spinning over the Dakotas, but it's sending rain through northern and southern Dakota, at North and South Dakota to be more precise with their state names, and into Minnesota as well. But the most northern flank of this system has now made its way over the international border and into southern Manitoba and coming very close to Winnipeg. So there's the possibility we might get a little bit of rain shower activity yet this evening here in Winnipeg. Brandon has had some drizzle and some rain throughout the afternoon. Cloudy though as we head into the early part of this evening, but expect that will change too out in the southwest. And over the coming hours, this evening and overnight, that system is just going to continue to spin around and slowly make its way in a northeasterly direction. Overnight, you see it does intensify a bit in parts of southern Manitoba. Toronto, more so in the south central area, but also into Winnipeg. And as we go throughout the morning hours, rain showers here in the southeast will flip over to more of an outright rainfall as we get into the afternoon and into tomorrow night. Meanwhile, you can see it starts to dry up out in the southwest part of the province. This system, though, misses you entirely in central and northern regions. And then we get into Saturday, soggy start for the weekend for us here in the southeast and further east into northwestern Ontario. For tonight, for the city again, showers possible. If we see a little bit, don't be surprised by that. 14 is our overnight low, otherwise cloudy. Light winds out of the northeast at 10 kilometers an hour. Up one for the commute tomorrow, showers likely, not a sure shot, but quite likely. And again, this may well be an on again, off again kind of scenario with respect to the precipitation over the next couple of days. Winds light tomorrow too for that commute. They'll shift, they'll come out of the east, but they don't strengthen tomorrow. And as I mentioned, rain showers will flip over to more of an outright rainfall, a high of 17 degrees. And the UV index for tomorrow is Friday, is 4 or moderate. And then look at your long-range forecast. The showers and the rain continue on Saturday, so a soggy start to the weekend there. 18, 21 degrees on Sunday under a mix of sun and cloud. That's the last full day of summer. Fall arrives on Monday with the autumnal equinox in the afternoon. Beautiful high of 24 degrees. Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll do the same thing, sunny with highs right around 24, well above normal for this time of year. Tonight, up in the northeast. Now, Churchill, don't be surprised by a little bit of drizzle or shower activity there. Otherwise, foggy overnight. Fog through Gillam. It should miss you in Island Lake. 8 overnight there, dropping all the way down to 2 in Thompson tonight with fog expected overnight. Up to 19 for Thompson tomorrow. All around the region, back into the northeast, 18, 19 degrees with sunshine or a mix of sun and cloud, so quite warm for your region. In the northwest tonight, varying amounts of cloud, but all areas will likely see some fog patches develop overnight and into tomorrow morning, so watch out for that if you have any driving to do. Cloudy for the most part tomorrow. Now, Flin Flon, Oceana, and the Pas, you'll get a little bit of sunshine in the morning, but then clouding over in the afternoon, but also warm right around the region. 18 degrees in Flin Flon and the Pas, Lynn Lake, 20 degrees for Norway House. In the southwest tonight, good chance you'll see some rain. It should miss you in Swan River, but watch out for fog there as well as the rest of the region into tomorrow morning. More rain continuing in those areas, most regions, including Brandon and Dauphin, up to 16. Winnipeg in the southeast, we'll see rain first for areas south of the city. We're starting to see that already. Don't be surprised if a little bit reaches Winnipeg tonight, more so into tomorrow morning. And as we go into the afternoon, temperatures in the mid to upper teens. And in northwestern Ontario tonight, as we cloud over in Kenora and Fort Francis, the sky will clear out in Dryden. Overnight lows between 9 and 11 degrees. Showers start around the noon hour in Fort Francis, 17 degrees there. You'll likely see some showers creep into Dryden as well. Let's take a look at some photos, shall we? This first one takes us up to a beautiful Gull Harbor there out at Hecla. That photo is from Arlene, a nice shot. And everyone enjoys these nice weather conditions, don't they? Including Whiskers here out in Hazel Ridge. That photo is from Michael. Send us your pics to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Wake up and start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could be $20,000 richer. Simply watch CTV Your Morning Winnipeg for the hourly code word. Then enter it online at ctvwinnipeg.ca for your chance to win. Imagine what you could do with an extra $20,000. CTV Your Morning's $20,000 giveaway. Watch CTV Your Morning Winnipeg, weekday morning 6 to 9.
Another hospital is the site of a potential measles exposure. The province has issued a warning for anyone who was at Bethesda Regional Health Center emergency room in Steinbach on September 13th from 1:45 p.m. to 8:50 p.m. It's encouraging anyone there during that time to monitor for symptoms for the next 3 weeks and check their vaccination status. University of Calgary researchers say a brain shunt procedure is restoring quality of life for some seniors. Jill Naus used to need a walker and was living in an assisted living facility out of fears of falling. She'd been diagnosed with idiopathic normal pressure hydrocephalus, an excess of fluid in the brain. Now, as part of a research study, a shunt was implanted in her brain to drain the excess fluid into her abdomen. And shortly after surgery, she moved back into her own home and was able to take her dog on daily walks.
But once I had my shunt, I bought a car because I felt now I can drive again. I bought a condo and I moved into the condo.
If they have this disease and you get to them before damage is permanent, you can reverse things.
Dr. Mark Hamilton adds shunts help prevent falls and incontinence. The study has now been published in the New England Journal of Medicine.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Coster Denture Clinic. Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Gord Bamford.
An upcoming documentary is promising a candid look at the final days of music legend Ozzy Osbourne.
If my life's coming to an end, I really can't complain. I had a great life.
Had a brilliant career and it ended in a brilliant way.
Paramount Plus revealed the trailer for Ozzy No Escape From Now. It's a feature-length film that's been produced in collaboration with the Osbourne family. The singer died in July, not long after a special farewell concert. In the doc, Ozzy opens up about years of health challenges, including the effects of a Parkinson's disease diagnosis. It also features interviews with his wife Sharon and children Amy, Kelly, and Jack. It streams starting October 7th.
It's taken so long to get to this point. I'm not going to let it slip through my fingers again.
Also today, Netflix released the first trailer for Victoria Beckham. It's a docuseries about the former Spice Girl. It follows Posh Spice as she navigates life after pop stardom and as she works to establish herself in her new chosen field, the fashion industry. Victoria Beckham debuts October 9th. The Canadian Screen Awards have announced a major change in their eligibility rules for next year. The awards recognize the country's top talent in the film, television, and digital sectors. The Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television announced that as of its 2026 awards, nominees will only be eligible if they hold Canadian citizenship or permanent residency. Screen Actors Union ACTRA welcomed the move at what it called a time when Canada's cultural sovereignty is under pressure. A big surprise today for fans of the popular streaming series that was set to come to an end today.
Have you ever been in love?
Once.
I don't want to think of anything else now that I thought of you.
What was her name?
The final episode of The Summer I Turned Pretty debuted Wednesday. The series is a coming-of-age romantic drama adopted from novels by author Jenny Han. Variety reports the show will have its true final finale in the form of a feature film that's just been greenlit at Amazon Prime. Exact plot details are under wraps, but the movie will be written by Han, who has also helmed the streaming adaptation. Disney is ready to rock once more.
Rock! So good to be back.
Disney has confirmed plans for a third Camp Rock movie. The sequel will be executive produced by the stars of the original, the Jonas Brothers and Demi Lovato. The brothers will also guest star alongside a new cast. The first two Camp Rock movies came out in 2008 and 2010, and production for the third is now underway in Vancouver. Your primetime lineup kicks off at 6 with some NFL football. The Miami Dolphins head to Buffalo to take on the Bills. And at 10, catch back-to-back episodes of Children Ruin Everything. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
And that's going to do it for us tonight. You can watch CTV News anytime on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. And don't forget to tune in for CTV News at 11:30 with Taylor Brock. Have a good night.